Welcome back to my channel. Donna Parsons here, and today we're going to be doing pivot tables but with a little bit of a twist, so stick with me. I know you're going to learn something today. So on the left hand side I have the country in that columns, and I have different countries, and you can see that USA shows up a few times, and it just goes on and on and on. And then I have red granola, blue granola, so I have different items, inventory, cost, and total. What I want to do is extract the information that I'd like to know. So for example, if I wanted to know the total for France and India at the same time, I could do it. If I wanted to total just one country over another, I could. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to make sure that we are left-click inside the area, meaning inside the table. Now, when you're doing a pivot table, you need to make sure that you have headers, all right? And just left-click on what your data is. It doesn't matter where. You're going to come up to the Insert tab across the top, and on the left-hand side in the Table section, you have Pivot Table. And your Pivot Table dialog box appears, and because you were inside the table range, automatically appears. The radio button selected New Worksheet is what we want, because we want a totally different worksheet, and we want to go ahead and click OK. Now you haven't lost your data. If you come down to the bottom left hand corner, I still have inventory as its own sheet, but I now have a new sheet for the pivot table. So let's bring over country. So we're going to bring over all the country, and let's just say we want country and we want total. So now we have our countries and we have our totals. And if we wanted to extract only France and Italy or France and India, all I'm going to do is come over on the right hand side in the pivot table field box. You have the word country, and over to the right there's going to be a little drop down arrow. I'm going to click this drop down arrow, and you can see now I can select what I want to select. So for example, I'm going to unselect, select all, and I'm going to say I want, for example, France and India. And when I select both of them, and now I'm going to click OK, you can see I just have France and India. If I change my mind and I want to change it back, or I want to change it and add maybe Italy to that, if I select Italy, put a little check mark in there, and click OK, it automatically adds Italy to the mix. Now let's just say I wanted to add the inventory, what the inventory is for each one of those three. If I select inventory, it automatically just populates the inventory sum of just those three countries. So it's super easy to manipulate pivot tables. Can I drag and drop these fields to change the way it looks? Absolutely. So for example, in the values, if I took the sum of inventory and I dragged it over to here, you can see I can change the way it looks. So it's super easy to modify exactly what I want and how I want it to look. If I want it in columns, you can see I can change and modify that too. So by just dragging and dropping these values, I can manipulate the rows and labels exactly the way I want it to show. If you wanted to clear everything, there's a couple of ways of doing this. So I'm going to come back up to country, and I'm going to click the down arrow, and you can see where it says clear filter from country. So now I have all of my countries that appeared back. Inventory, okay, they're all selected, and total, they're all selected as well. So when I select everything back for the countries, it automatically repopulates the sum of the totals and the sum of the inventories. Super easy to do. If you wanted to do it with slicers, you can certainly do it with slicers. You're going to come up to Pivot Table Analyze across the top, and you're going to come down to Insert Slicer, and let's just say I want to insert the slicer for the country, the inventory, and the totals again, and click OK. And now if I want to drill it down even farther, I'll just drag these over to here real quickly. And now let's just say I want to look at Canada. In Canada, by just selecting Canada, I can see that it has just 1,263, and that's the total. If I wanted to look at India, there's the inventories. I had several entries for inventory, whereas in Canada, I didn't have too many entries for Canada. So let's take a look at USA. There you go. All right. So you can either do a pivot table with changing or modifying your data by clicking the down arrows, or you can create a slicer, and creating a slicer will allow you to drill it down to whatever you want. It really depends upon how you want to show your data or what data you would like to show. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thank you so much for your time. And if you like what I have to say, please subscribe. And also, if you have something that you would like me to show you, by all means, leave it in a comment. Have a great day.